Welcome to the Subaru WRX STI Type S from 2014, a vehicle that you need to own. Now, this is the first time I'm actually jumping into this car, and I realized I was doing myself a disfavor because when I jumped into this vehicle, I had such an enjoyable experience. But before we get into that, we need to know how you can get your hands on this vehicle. So, you have to head on over to Brand Central and spend 41,148 credits. This is the only car that comes to mind that does not have a rounded off figure. Every other car in the used car dealership, the legendary dealership Brand Central, has a rounded figure. It ends with a 0, but not the Subaru. I may be mistaken, but genuinely, when I saw this, I was a bit confused. So look, leave the price aside. What do you get for spending that money? Well, you get a flat 4 2-liter engine that's turbocharged and produces 302 brake horsepower, which isn't shabby. Now the vehicle is all-wheel drive. The engine's in the front and it comes in at a weight of 1,490 kgs. So it's coming in at a decent weight, but it's nothing that I can say is, yo, this car is like super heavy. Now we see that the vehicle also has a top speed of 262 kilometers per hour, and coming down Kyoto Driving Park straight away, we are able to hit a whopping 201 before we need to slam on the brakes and make it around the first corner. Now with the vehicle being standard, there's no understeer from the vehicle. I didn't feel the front end pushing wide or just being uncontrollable. To be honest with you, the car doesn't really feel like it's going fast enough to understeer. Yes, I know it does have 302 brake horsepower, but it still just doesn't really have that get up and go. We see when it comes to setting lap times around Kyoto Driving Park, we do find ourselves setting lap times around the 1 minute 56 second mark, which look, it's better than a 2-minute lap, so we cannot complain about that. But frankly, the standard Subaru is okay for beginners level racing. But if you finish the game, the Subaru standard is simply just not gonna cut it. After driving supercars, you need a vehicle that has a lot more oomph behind it. So to make that change, you need to head on over to a tuning shop and start spending a lot of money to upgrade that standard engine. And we see now, once we do fully upgrade the Subaru, well, we are going to be left with 581 brake horsepower and a vehicle that weighs 1,162 kgs. So we do rip out quite a lot of weight from the vehicle, and we see that now we are just under 600 horsepower, almost doubling the power of the standard engine. Now when it comes to the visual customization of the Subaru, well, this car, it has a few customization options. It's nothing crazy because, I mean, Gran Turismo 7 doesn't have that many options. Look, we see one front splitter for the front bumper, we see one side skirt, we see a small addition to a rear bumper when we look at the rear customization, and we have 4 options for a rear wing, where 3 of them add, well, one's a wingless option and the other 2 add small lips. So there is customization. You can make your Subaru unique, but it's really up to you how you want to spice it up. But once you are finished customizing your Subaru and you take it back out onto circuit, you are going to be quite pleased with the vehicle's performance. Like, I was actually taken away by how good the vehicle felt. There was no understeer with the torque vectoring differential I had put in the vehicle. I had 40% of the power going to the front, 60 going to the rear, and the vehicle wasn't pushing out. And I mean, the braking of the vehicle is very responsive. The turning is also very responsive. There's no delay. The input, I won't say it's instant, but it's fast. You have a good base to have a lot of power, and I think that's the reason we can now engine swap this vehicle. But before we get into that, this vehicle now around Kyoto Driving Park is setting lap times that are, well, that I would consider competitive. Now setting a fastest lap time of a 1 minute 34.6, which anything faster than a 1 minute 35 around the circuit in my eyes is a competitive vehicle. So now with the engine swap that we can add to this vehicle, well, it is a spicy one. So we're gonna take the flat 4 engine out of it, and we're gonna replace it with a flat 6 engine out of the Porsche 992 Turbo S. We are throwing a 911 engine into the Subaru, and that is just absolutely crazy. Now the thing is, the engine swap itself is not that expensive, coming in at 250,000 credits compared to other engine swaps which are a lot more expensive and you don't even get that much power out of it. 250,000 is a decent amount. So once we swapped it in, we're gonna head on over to a tuning shop and fully upgrade that engine. And once we do, well, we are gonna be left off with some really spicy figures, because now we see the vehicle produces 1061 brake horsepower and it only weighs 1202 kgs. So the vehicle is still really lightweight and now produces so much more power. So around Kyoto Driving Park, the biggest fear I have is that this vehicle is going to be running off circuit. It's going to have severe understeer and it's not going to be fun to drive. But I was so glad to feel that that was not the case. I was still able to set fast lap times with the Subaru. I wasn't fighting with the front end to just keep it in line. I wasn't fighting with the vehicle. I'm able to put the power down and set very fast, consistent lap times. But when I say like put the power down, this vehicle is fast, and with it having all-wheel drive, it really puts all of the power down to the ground. The vehicle doesn't slide about. I mean, you can send all the power to the rear if you like, but if you want to set fast consistent times, you need a good split between the power. And we see coming down Kyoto Driving Park straight away, I found myself doing over 300 kilometers per hour before I need to slam on the brakes. Now when it comes to setting lap times, well, my fastest lap time now was a 1 minute 31 second lap, which is just, it's amazing. It's amazing. This vehicle is so fast now. However, the only thing is, the car, the engine, with it not being a race engine, the fuel consumption is not the best for money grinding, but I have heard people say they have had success money grinding with this vehicle setup. I personally have not tried it out, so I cannot confirm, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, people have been doing really good with the setup. So what amazed me was how good this vehicle is off-road. Now obviously it's in the DNA of the Subaru to be good off-road. This is the car's heritage. This is where it comes from. So when I took the Porsche powered Subaru around Sardinia windmills, the vehicle just exceeded my expectation. The vehicle was able to put the power down. It was able to just set fast lap times. This is currently the 4th fastest vehicle I've ever taken around the circuit, which is so impressive, and it's just blown me away how good the Subaru is off-road. It's just so easy to drive, easy to control, and it's just so enjoyable. And that's the thing, with this vehicle, it can do whatever you want. If you want circuit racing, it can do that. You want drag racing, it can do that. If you want off-roading, it can do that. You want drifting, it can do that too. It's like a Swiss Army knife. It does whatever you want it to do, and I absolutely love it. So the Subaru WRX, I see no reason for you to not try this vehicle out, and let me know how good it is in the comment section. But if you have tried this vehicle out, I want to hear about your experience with this vehicle. So I highly recommend you try this vehicle out, and with all this being said, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.